Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Right, okay, so after another 2 week break from the UFC, we are back again with the fourth round of the 23rd edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. And as I just mentioned, it's the fourth round, and coincidentally, there are four of you left. So I'll just go over those names again in a second. It's been a fortnight since we've been together. It's been a little bit stop-starty, the UFC last few weeks, hasn't it? Here we go. Right, they are A, or A like myself and Nazy. God knows how you pronounce that one. Foghorn Sam, Rigno, and Ex-Con Chris. So there are four. They're going to be battling it out in this round, and for this round we have the UFC Fight Night, well, it's UFC Paris effectively, whatever you want to call it. It's headline though by Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis, and it's an interesting fight, isn't it? It's two fighters. It seems of Benoit Saint Denis uh was looking like the next big contender until Dustin Poirier put a stop to that. But he's still got momentum behind him. No, four fights win streak with all with stoppages. Up until he came across Dustin Poirier, which probably, when we look back on his career, we're going to think, yeah, no, that loss is going to age very well because Poirier is already an established legend of the sport. So I'm not going to hold that against him too much. And maybe was a little bit rushed up towards. It wasn't quite ready for that level of competition yet. As for Renato Moicano, on the other hand, he's been get a little bit of a resurgence, hasn't he? He's three-fight win streak coming back with wins like Jalen Turner and Drew Dober, which they're not near the top end of the division, but they are notable names in the division. If they're not ranked, they're certainly in the lower end of the rankings. Not that I check UFC rankings at all, to be honest, but don't put any stock into that. I just have a vague idea of how good fighters are and make my own mind up as to whereabouts they'd be. As for how this fight plays out, as I mentioned, I'm still fancying Saint Denis because of the momentum he built up before that, and Moicano isn't Dustin Poirier. He's a good fighter, very solid veteran. Might even be able to take Denis the distance in this, but ultimately, I think that Denis's power is just going to be too much for Moicano, and got him by third round knockout. So Benoit Saint Denis by third round knockout is my official prediction for that. But you're not here to listen to my rambles, so let's just get on with this. Let's see who you're all being drawn with. First up is A. Let's see who gets drawn with for tomorrow night. And he gets Fares Ziam. Fares Ziam there for A. Fares Ziam for A. Myself and Nazy, and I've got him to win by decision against Matt Frivola, which this is probably probably one of the more interesting stylistic matchups on the cards, because you got Fares Ziam, who wins most of his by decision, and Matt Frivola is just pure fucking chaos every time he steps in that cage. I love the guy. Very entertaining, though that does lead to, well, he's not got the best record, has he? Or at least not in the last five. You never quite know if he's going to win or not, because he's, on one hand, he's not the best fighter around. Let's be honest, but on the other hand, I reckon he's got enough power that one good shot he can put almost anyone out. So um, it's it's a bit of an odd matchup. Let's say odd, but it'd be interesting to see if Francis Siam can withstand Rivola's power. I think he can, and I've got Siam to win another decision here. But that it will be interesting to see what comes of that. So And I think CM's probably the slight favourite in that one. Not sure, I can't quite remember what odds were for it, but I think he's the slight favourite as well. So all in all, fairly good chance that one. Foghorn Sam is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who he gets paired up with. And he gets Daniel Perez. Daniel Perez there for Foghorn Sam. All right. And he's up against Victor Altamirano. I know full well I've not pronounced that one right, but I do fancy Victor, we'll just call him Victor, that'd be easier, to win that one, simply because he's got more UFC fights under his belt, really, because he's 2-3 in his last 5, which is okay. That's not great on the surface, but at least they're all in the UFC, which, to be fair, with a lot of fight night cards these days, particularly on the prelims, you get a lot of fighters which only have, or either making their debuts or only have 1 or 2 UFC fights. So by modern standards, he's a comparative veteran to be fighting on a fight night prelim. And as for Daniel Perez, well, he pretty much falls into that category that I've just described, really, because he's had 1 fight in the UFC, but he lost that one. So we're still not 100% sure exactly what level he's at, whether he's good enough to hang with the rest of the people at the flyweight division in the UFC, or whether he's just going to be another regional guy that's got bumped up to the UFC a bit too soon. But all in all, I do favour Victor Altamirano just for his experience alone. So I think Foghorn Sam's going to need a little bit of luck with that one, if I'm being honest. Okay, right, we're halfway through already. 2 down, 2 to go. Next up is Rigno. Let's see who Rigno gets. And he gets Joe Anderson Brito. Joe Anderson Brito there for Rigno. Anderson Brito. And yeah, up against William Gomez. William Gomez is going to be a tough opponent for him. He's won his first 3 UFC fights. He's okay, admittedly his last one got cancelled because he came in massively underweight, which was a weird thing, wasn't it? He came in like full jeans and every t-shirt and everything. It's a good few pounds underweight, still got cancelled, but besides that one weird, well, not weight miss, but weight hit. But anyway, besides that, he's had pretty much unblemished start to the UFC, really, hasn't he? He's also got some Erez wins as well before joining the UFC, which is very quickly becoming one of the established forces in Europe, in European MMA. For years, it was always really Cage Warriors and I'd put as the premier European promotion, and then it maybe for sort of Eastern Europe as KSW after that. But I know it was PFL. They've been dipping their fingers into the European MMA pie with their PFL Europe events. But within a few years, Erez is going to be probably the premier promotion in Europe, I would say, probably even surpassing the smaller PFL events they do there. Because the quality of their region, their early, well, the quality of their talent from fighters early in their career is really good. So if you haven't checked out one of their events, next time they do one, I'd highly recommend it. It's a very good place to spot prospects. And William Gomez coming from that, I say that's a very good, well, that's a good feather in his cap. I was trying to find an expression, couldn't think of anything. But anyway, I don't know why I've rambled on him so much, because it is his opponent, Joe Anderson Brito, that's been drawn. I should probably spend more time talking about him. But anyway, having said that, despite all that glazing I've just done of William Gomez, I do actually have Joe Anderson Brito to win this one by 2nd round submission. simply because he's been on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC, both a mixture of KOs and submissions in that. He does tend to favour the submission though. He does tend to. That seems to be what there seems to be the opportunity he tends to look for. I'd say in the fights, from what I recall seeing of him. And William Gomez, when I do watch him, he's yeah very more of a KO artist. Really, I don't really associate ground game with him as much. So maybe that's a potential weakness for him. I reckon it is. So I've got Johansson Brito to win by second round submission there. So that is quite a good that's quite a good pick there for Rigno. Still not certainty because, like I say, I do rate William Gomez as a prospect quite big, massively. And then he said bigly there. No, instead of saying massive, it's bigly, and then I'm making up my own words here. But for this one, I've got Johansson Brito. As you can tell from my glazing, I've gone back and forth on that fight quite a lot. Anyway, that really went off tangent, didn't it? Right, try and be a bit more focused with ex-con Chris, who's last to take on the wheel. Let's see who ex-con Chris gets drawn with. And he gets Bolaji Oki. I think I pronounced that right. I know full well I probably have not pronounced that right. I butcher so many of these names. Then again, I do watch a lot of UFC events with mute on, simply because they're in the middle of the night. Don't want to wake my parents up, and the commentary shit anyway. But anyway, Balaj Oki there, one of the opening prelim fighters on this in the event. He's up against Chris Duncan, who I do have Chris Duncan to win by a decision. Just get that one out of the way straight away. Balaj Oki, yeah, he's won his UFC debut, and he's also got a contender series win. But the same can be said for Chris Duncan. Again, came via that route, UFC, and contender series. He's actually 2-1 in the UFC already. So yeah, it's I would say just maybe a few more fights ahead in his career as to where he's as to where Oki is, and at this level, or this sort of early level, particularly, that little bit extra experience can make all the difference. So maybe we're underestimating Oki. Ex-con Chris will certainly be hoping so, but overall, I do fancy Chris Duncan for that one. So that concludes the fourth round draw. Let's just bring the page back to the Excel sheet. Just run over those names. I've once got no double ups or no head to heads. We've got Fares Ziam for A, Daniel Perez for Foghorn Sam. Rigno gets drawn with Joe Anderson Brito, and ex-con Chris with Balaj Oki. So that is the fourth round draw done. All that leaves me to say is good luck for any of your bets you might have on this card. Good luck with your picks on Tapology. Good luck with the Lucky Bastard game, which I will just say actually, this is the fourth round, so or there's only 4 of you left, rather. Is probably a better way of wording it. So we are drawing towards the end of the game, really, aren't we? Because if 3 of you go out, the game's over, basically, because if we're only left with one person at the end of this, then they'll be the winner. Or if all 4 of you go out, the wheel will be declared the champion. So there's a chance it could end this round. So anyway, we'll see next time, won't we? We'll just have to wait, see what comes of it tomorrow night. And if this is the last round of this game, well, then we'll see you in a new one. Or if there's at least 2 of you carrying on, then we'll carry on to a 5th round. But until next time, so long for now.